welcome to the kickers and defenses wrap-up look-through.
It's what you all came here for.
Yeah, exactly. We are, a week and a half away from draft date. I saw September 5th. Has that been confirmed?
That feels like something I should know.
Yeah,
but I don't.
I looked up at the app yesterday because I was checking to see what another one, but I think if it's not September 5th, I'm sure we'll get corrected. If it is, then I nailed it. But we have already done part one of the draft, the boring part, got it out of the way, drafted defenses and kickers. Opening question, did you like this approach?
No, because I wanted defenses and kickers gone. But yes, it was okay.
Yeah.
I think it saves you the last 10 minutes at the end of the draft when everyone's just running through defenses. I kind of liked when you could get someone to pay $5 for Justin Tucker. So that is a little sad that you don't have that strategy necessarily. And Ross just snuck him in because nobody was drafting kickers and did a typical Ross thing. So, I mean,
I will say that. So, yeah, I agree with the Justin Tucker point because I for sure think he would have gone for more than $1 if it was a straight up draft, a salary draft. I was even at 3 thinking, do I just take Justin Tucker and have the worst defense because I'm picking third to last in the second round? So I would have had, who went last year? The Jags. But at 3, I couldn't justify it. You at 6 would have been interesting.
I wasn't even thinking about it. I think that's the thing. Like I was on the same boat as Tom of like, just because I'm a dummy, I just didn't even think about the fact that I could take a kicker because everybody else was taking defenses.
And he's really the only kicker that you would do that with. No one else. I mean, it's probably even stupid for him, but like just to be able to put the Ross hat on and just be like, hey, I was the smart guy that knew that I was picking at the end of the draft and could just get Justin Tucker because nobody else was going to take him in the first round. Pretty chalk, I think, for the first couple picks. We had Cowboys, Niners. I was between the Eagles and the Jets. I did have the Eagles written in and erased it and went for the Jets. And then Lucas picked him right behind me. Pats, you took the Bills. Was there any other thoughts at that pick? Or were the Bills best available, gotta grab them?
Best available, gotta grab them. I really do not care about owning a defense or a kicker. So I'm here to check the box and move on.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really any like amazing return guys anymore too. So it's not like the Bears defenses of old,
right?
Where you're also getting like Devin Hester. Any thoughts on the kicker? Like, I even think the kickers is a worse portion of the draft. Like defenses, I actually care a little bit about. Like, I don't like the randomness with them being present at all. But I think if you have a top 5 defense, you're not going to get rid of them. You're not going to, drop them to waivers and start picking them up until probably your bye week. But kickers, like, I mean, Lucas or me are going to drop him for the Green Bay kicker as soon as that guy makes 3 kicks in a game. Like, that's just what's going to happen. That's just why I have the Vikings kicker, so that I can kick him to the curb.
I was wondering what your strategy was there. On the flip side, I kind of think that you get a more consistent performance out of a kicker, where for a defense, you can be like, okay, I need to get 5 points out of this one defense that I'm going to stream. And it could be the difference in me winning it. Negative 10 points because they gave up 40 and did nothing else. So I just don't like the randomness of a defense because you can't tell. There's nobody. If you can tell me you have a good strategy for a defense other than the top 5, you're lying.
Oh, I got a good strategy this year, and that is who's ever the defense against the Arizona Cardinals. Because the Arizona Cardinals are going to be terrible.
Yeah. That's usually a pretty
Um,
sound strategy.
yeah. I mean, there's not a ton of like really bad teams. Arizona's like easily the worst team in the league. Um, but that, I mean, it is what it is. Way to go woke with your pick. I like that. The only non-white kicker taken in the draft. Way to
He's
get the minorities in there.
he's fifth ranked, which I was surprised by.
Do
Just
you
trying to make a
remember when he
difference.
was on the Dodgers and he missed like 5 of his first 6 field goals or something like that and got cut? And he was on the
It's
Bill Simmons podcast right before then, and Simmons was like hyping him up, and then he started playing and was terrible.
it's exactly what
And
happened
now
to
he
Daniel
was
Carlson too. Daniel
yeah.
Carlson was the
Yeah, I mean
kicker
he
for the
was on every
Vikings.
single list. He was on every list top 5.
Yeah,
Who was?
just a glow up.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sad that I'm losing Carlson, who was, I think, the number 1 kicker last year.
Number one or number two, but yeah, that was
I mean,
a bit.
number 1 kicker, number 1 running back, number 1 wide receiver. It's,
All on the Raiders.
when you have that number 1 kicker. Yeah, yeah. The Raiders were a powerhouse last year in fantasy football.
Not so. I don't think they will be this year.
Yeah. I I can't believe the Jags defense got picked at all. I mean, there has to be a better defense I mean the Packers are probably a better defense than the Jags. Nobody took the
Oh,
Packers.
uh, nobody took
Don't
the
the Lions
Vikings
have
either.
a halfway decent defense? Eh,
Uh,
the Vikings are like the most mediocre team of all time.
they were the last ranked defense last year, so that was kind of a joke for my fellow Vikings fans in the league. Which
Oh,
there is actually none, right? It's Crayons was the only other one. I think I'm the only one now.
that's correct. That is correct.
I'm on an island.
It is what it is. Um, Nothing else really surprising. I don't think the Cowboys defense can be as good. I think that there was some rigging that had to go into it to get Nathan with the first pick. I don't think the new guy should just be able to jump in and have the number 1 overall pick. I would have taken the Niners in that spot, but that's just me. I think the Cowboys and the Niners on every list that I looked at, 1 or 2. I'm pretty sure that the Eagles had a cornerback get injured in the preseason game the day before we drafted, which is why I ended up not drafting him.
Hmm.
But the preseason stuff basically trying to smooth its way out. The Packers kicker that I can't remember his name hasn't missed a field goal yet in preseason, so he's going to get picked. Somebody's going to stream him.
It's the time
There's
of the year
Packer
for
fans in the
preseason
league to
hype.
do so. Yeah. So the Jalen Warren is a big name on the streets. The back running back in Pittsburgh that's going to be behind Najee. Was Najee one of the guys that's probably going to be a keeper?
I haven't looked at the list. I don't know. He could be. I thought he was drafted pretty high last year, though.
Yeah. We'll see there. Jalen Warren is getting taken, I know, in rookie drafts pretty high. So he'll be probably, well, I would assume he'll get picked in the draft. Who knows what he'll go for? Do you have any thoughts for the upcoming draft? Not to give away picks or anything, but any strategies, any people that I'm willing to give away a couple.
It's funny, I almost thought of a bit for this show where I hype up a bunch of players that I don't believe in just to kind of throw smoke or blow smoke. Because that would be fun. But I think For one thing, I'm keeping Alexander Madison for dirt cheap because I think that he is going to be a steal. Um, and
He's
I,
bad.
if just because I have to stick with my Vikings homer policy, I do feel like Jordan Addison is a person and is a thing worth keeping your eyes on. Just because I have been following the training camp practice reports and preseason games with him, and I feel like he could be something, a wide receiver too. But I'm not paying attention to the rest of the league enough to know of anybody else who I can hype up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stick with the same type of homer pick. I think Jaden Reed is going to go for more money in our draft than you'd think. He's the second round pick for the Packers, wide receiver for Michigan State. He got taken relatively high in a rookie draft that I was following along with. And who else?
I will say it. Oh,
I
nice.
want to see what happens with Kamara, because there's a lot of reports about him getting his health on track. He is missing the first 3 games due to suspension, but it is only 3 games.
You put that behind him now.
Hey, I mean,
I think what you just said sounds like the perfect fake argument for a player because there's no way you're going to talk me into Alvin Kamara. He's an old running back in the league.
he's I think he's 28 years old.
That's old for a running back. We got rid of Dalvin Cook and he's 28.
Yeah, and then there's Jerick McKinnon, who people still want, and he's like 31.
Yeah. Jerick McKinnon is the new Frank Gore. He's just around.
If you can catch passes, your age doesn't matter. You're like 5 years younger than you actually are if you can catch passes as a running back.
If we're going to continue hyping up rookies, I do feel like Anthony Richardson is the guy to have if you're getting one of those rookie quarterbacks. I feel like he's going to be pretty good, even if the Colts are not very good.
I was listening to a podcast this morning, and I think it was actually Simmons compared him to Dante Culpepper.
Yeah, yep. I've heard that.
I was like, I don't want him anymore
now. I think I heard that comparison on a Vikings podcast before the draft because we were talking about the possibility of getting him. And I think I heard Cam Newton and then I heard Dante Culpepper. And when I heard Dante Culpepper, I was in. I was like, we need to trade everything we have to get this guy.
I don't think he's like Dante Culpepper, and when he's like 35, he weighs 400 pounds and is playing for the Dolphins.
Listen, man, the 2003 season from Dante Culpepper is legendary. He was so good. And then he just fell off the face of the earth.
2 Hall of Fame wide receivers.
What could have
been? Who else? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I've caught a couple of Chiefs games in preseason, and he looks incredible again. So I might revert to 2 years ago and just spend a ton of money on him. I look back at that draft. I think I spent $73 on him. Oh. It was unbelievable.
He was going high in all the drafts, though. He was hyped up.
Yeah. But I mean, every single time that I watch him, even if it's just preseason, I'm like, that guy can move. It's not bad. I like him. Yeah, I don't think I can do it in this league anyway. But I will say, and you already know this, my favorite fantasy football thing that I'll probably be doing in any other league but this league, because I don't think it's possible, is pairing AJ Brown and Devontae Smith together on the same team and then trying to get Hurts. Because I think even if their offense isn't as good as last year, they just are going to put up numbers because they're both 3 really good fantasy players. Like Devontae Smith is the best wide receiver that nobody talks about as being a top 5 wide receiver. And AJ Brown is a top 5 wide receiver that nobody thinks is a top 5 wide receiver.
It's not going to happen in this league, but if you can manage it, I feel like that's a little bit of a cheat code. Unless the Eagles totally suck, you
Yeah,
never know.
that's not going to happen. Eagles are good. They'll probably go back to the Super Bowl. All right. Yeah, I don't want to give away any other picks. So in following with the theme that Ross has put together for this year, in the middle of our shows, we will be doing our weekend update, where Tim and I will be presenting the weekend's headlines from the wide world of sports. We'll keep politics. We'll just dribble. We'll stay out of politics, stay out of real world stuff. But we thought it'd be a fun thing for us to try to do, definitely non-comedy writers. And we'll keep with the theme because that is the staple of SNL.
Oh,
No
yeah.
matter what you think about the skits and stuff like that, whether they trend down or, there's one good for every 5 bad ones, Weekend Update is almost always solid. And I'm sure we'll be somewhat represented in team names and logos and stuff coming into the year. I should have looked it up, but we're going to have to get Ross in, and he's going to have to grow a mustache to do the informant, the
Yep.
Italian informant guy.
Yeah.
And
I would love to do a couple bit desks.
When he guests on it, he has to do that role, because that's probably one of my favorite characters of all time on SNL. I don't think we can get anybody to do Stefan, and I don't think either of us could write for Stefan, but we'll see.
I don't know. Yeah, I love Weekend Update's definitely always been my favorite part. And it's never not good. I'm partial to Michael Che and Colin Jost. Not to be like a millennial homer, but I do like them a lot. But it's always been good.
Yeah. I really liked Seth Meyers, honestly.
Yeah.
He was right in my sweet spot. I think he was, when I was in college, he was the host by himself, because I think with him and Tina Fey were together, but that was pre me watching it more. And then an old throwback is all of Norm Macdonald's Weekend Updates are incredible. But we're going to do some, Tim and I will go back and forth on these, and hopefully they're as bad as I purposely wrote them to be.
It's Weekend Update. All right, I'll go first. Okay, hang on. I gotta get my coffee cup, my coffee mug, which is filled with nothing, but I feel more powerful.
I gotta get my.
Oh yeah,
my sheet of paper that I tap.
Yep, I need some fake glasses. Okay. It's Weekend Update. Baker Mayfield was named the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starting quarterback for Week 1. Actually, hang on. No, I'm sorry, my mistake. Ryan Fitzpatrick was named. Oh, wait, hang on. Mike Glennon. Nope. Josh Freeman. Brad Johnson. Trent Dilfer. Vinny Testaverde? Oh, no, sorry. Hang on. I'm actually getting word now that Tom Brady's come out of retirement and will be the Buccaneers quarterback now. This joke was brought to you by Immaculate Grit Football. Slightly less fun than the baseball one.
All right. NFL player Jimmy Graham was detained by police after wandering into traffic during a medical episode, potentially brought on by a seizure. Graham was transferred to a hospital in the area to seek medical care when further complications arose when the doctors couldn't decide whether to treat him as a tight end or a wide receiver.
Sorry, I need to keep a straight face. Aaron Rodgers is on board with the Jets' decision to play him in the next preseason game. And all I have to say is I'm really glad that the Jets coaches and front office are letting Aaron be Aaron and be a part of their decision making. It's so much better than leaving him in the dark.
To the wild and wide world of college sports, we'll dip into college for a little bit here. The Air Force Academy football team plans to wear uniforms honoring the participants in an air attack on Japan during World War II. The 2023 alternate uniforms include a crown with B-25 on the front bumper and either names of specific planes or Doolittle on the back. Like the Japanese in 1945, Force Academy has been surprised by the roasting they've received for the uniform design.
The Baltimore Ravens' undefeated preseason victory streak since 2015 was snapped by the Washington Commanders. We heard initial reports on this, however, my sources could not confirm this because there was no one in attendance.
The Indianapolis Colts have granted Jonathan Taylor permission to speak with other teams regarding a trade, a change in their posture since Taylor's trade request a few weeks back, a sign that the star running back could finally be on the move. Colts owner Jim Irsay has been adamant in getting comparative value for the star running back, allegedly seeking a first-round draft pick and one live orca whale. I've got one more. We're dipping into independent league baseball for this one. This one caught my eye. I enjoyed it very much. Last Friday, Bryce Wheeler, a blind sports broadcaster from Ogden Raptors, an independent baseball team in Utah, visited the press box at Lindquist Field, offering commentary on the game against North Colorado Owls. Weiler sees the opportunity as a way to show what a disabled person a chance can mean to a group, saying, "That's what people with disabilities need in life, someone who will give them an opportunity." His partner in the booth that night, play-by-play announcer Richard Armstrong, was quoted as saying, "He'd never seen anything like it in his years of broadcasting." And that's a drive deep to left by Castellanos. All right, so that was Weekend Update. Thanks for hanging in there with us. If you have any submissions for a headline that you want to write a Weekend Update joke, feel free to email them to Tim and I, and we will read them on. Or if you come in as a guest, you can make sure to write one and join in on the conversation if you don't want to play a character. So I believe the draft is September 5th. Again, if that's not true, that's my bad. But I did feel like I looked at it last night, so I'm pretty confident on that. 7 o'clock, I think I saw on there. Again, just giving more false information if I'm not correct about that. But should be a fun time. I believe we will try to get together a stream Zoom call again for all of us to jump in on. We are going to be doing a show within the next couple of days after recapping the draft. So if any of you want to jump on that with us, I'm sure for that one we can have as many people as we want on that. It'll be more of a roundtable discussion, so more people can talk about their draft strategies and the reasons why they picked, instead of Tim and I just talking about our teams and what we think is negative about others.
It's always a great time to talk about how much you hate your team days after drafting, because I think that happens to everybody.
Yep. So just like with the draft, trying to get as many people talking that night, we'll do the same in our wrap-up post draft discussion. We'll follow a similar format that we did last year, where for these shows, we will do a week wrap-up. We'll do our weekend update. We'll do look ahead to the waiver wire. And then this year, Tim and I are going to be doing picks based on the point spreads given by ESPN for the projection totals. We're going to be doing, what we're trying to do is we're going to each pick 3 games. We'll keep our season tallies on the side. Kind of gives Tim and I something to do on the show that's competitive, that will be going week by week alongside. And that'll be basically the format for the show. Hopefully this.
We even have a Vegas informant lined up for the Lions bet. We've got a guy, so we've got all the insight for the league.
Great. Hopefully, I have an idea who that is. Hopefully that will go well, and we can keep that going. Probably not a ton of guest involvement on that, unless they want to just make their own pick and keep their own score and their own books. But we'll try to get people that didn't come on last year chance earlier on to participate. Obviously, not everybody has to participate if they don't want to, but we'll try and get the people that didn't get on last year on. And that's about all I had.
Same here. I got to do a few more mocks before draft night, though. Got to grind those mocks.
Yeah, but then you also have to take off like 20 players that can't get drafted because they're going to be kept, which complicates all the mock drafts that I do because I draft guys get excited and go, oh, I'm never going to be able to draft that guy anyway.
That's true. I'm ready, though. I just need football to be here.
Oh, so the format changes. All the voting went through. We did remove the flex position. Well, we adjusted the flex position. And so now there's just the flex, the extra wide receiver, tight end spot has been taken away. So we're back to the format that we were doing a couple of years ago. Did you appreciate the coup that I pulled on our commissioner, high leader, who seems rather disappointed that I got the support that I got?
I appreciated it, but I don't think he appreciates it. He had to throw the "I'm the commissioner of the people" line in at the end. But if there's a reason why Libby's not on this podcast, I'm sure that's why. He may never come back on.
Call me Robespierre, baby. Although I'm pretty sure Robespierre ended up getting his head cut off and not leading much of a revolution. So
no idea what you're talking about, but
maybe that'll happen. Thanks. Yeah, just history.
But I mean, it's fine. The format is fine. I'm just glad we changed something.
Hopefully there will be more trades because I think so. My major point was when I was talking to Libby about this behind the scenes was that a lot of people did not want to trade last year because there was not people on your bench that you really wanted to trade for. And you were trading starters for starters because any guy that would have been on your bench, you could just start the spot typically. And everybody basically, when it comes to trades, would rather keep their guy and start them than risk a trade, losing in a trade. So starters for starters is tough. This will hopefully free that up and better people will be traded than last year. And there was maybe 3 trades last year.
Yeah,
so
it was. And I love the trade. So I think that for that reason, I'm excited for this.
So hopefully, I mean, if anything, it'll increase the amount of people on waiver wires. So that'll increase that. Whether or not it trades the trading, who knows? But I think that'll be good. And we will see you guys next time when we're wrapping up the draft.
We're almost there. Football.
Football.